Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo! I see you because... Beast! I'm YouTube famous now! Did you not know that? Available in the fall of 2022, the album, ow, damn it, Janet, Dad, AF, Rock on Gold Dust. Wait a second, that song is just not appropriate. Not appropriate, as my cousin Caroline says. That song is not appropriate for today. I think I need to sing, what's another song that I could sing? Celebrate good times, come on! Do. Celebrate a cash grab, come on! Do. There's a party going on right here. When Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson are near, they're gonna release another cash grab, and everybody's gonna spend all their money and not get any presents for you for Christmas. Beast! And then they'll have to complain about taxes and the 25% they gave to their coworker. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? Oh my God, you guys, I am so excited. I am so excited about the release of the new palette. I cannot wait. That black, that shimmery black, that looks like tar, that is like a black. I have never seen it. I've never seen anything like that before, okay? And teamed up with that turd brown. Oh my, that turd brown. I have never seen a turd brown like that in my entire life, okay? And that deep, dark red, that kind of looks like soil. That deep, dark red, that brown turd looking color, and that black, oh my God, it's gonna make my eye look like bloody stool. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play with those colors, okay? And if you didn't have enough color accessory to make you look like a clown from the first conspiracy palette, you have palette number 2, which is what we're gonna talk about today. Yesterday, I did a video. Woo! Listen, Linda. Somebody asked me in my video yesterday, they said, who's Linda? Google search or search on the YouTube bar, listen Linda, and you'll find this kid talking to his mom. The video is from years and years and years ago, but I just found out about it, oh, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and I just talk something to death when I find it. And it's this kid, and he's talking to his mom, and she's telling him he can't have a cupcake, and he's like, listen, Linda. It's the most hilarious and cutest thing in the entire world. But anyway, I always go with the tried and true, okay? I don't need a new, is this a joke palette? Is this like one of those like fart cushions that you sit on? You know, I mean, that's kind of what I thought of the conspiracy palette the first time. I was like, is this a joke? Is this clown paint, you know? I just watched that movie Terrifier with Art the Clown, and at the beginning of it, he's painting, you know, his face and stuff like that, and I was like, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of the conspiracy palette. So anyway, but now you're going to get more clown paint for those of you out there that really needed it. But I always go with the tried and true, okay? That's why I stick forever with when your lips are dry as mine, then it's Luna Beauty time. And I always go with, like my mom wore for 40 years of her life, Clinique Salmon Ice lipstick. I always wear Celine by Lunar Beauty, because I swear by it. I swear by it. It's absolutely the best lip gloss in the entire world, which you can tell by the comments where people kiss my ASS and say, Peter, your lips are glowing today. Thank you so much. But anyway, yesterday, I did a reaction to part 1 of Shane Dawson's series. Now, people are very confused about this, okay? Because Shane fans, even Shane fans are very confused about this. Because this is what we're going to talk about today. Shane posted, creating conspiracy palette part 2. And people are like, what do you mean part 2 about this, okay? And so, I think people are confused, A, with, is this the second part of the series? B, your series had no cliffhanger. It didn't talk about next week. It didn't talk about the next addition to the series. So people just thought it was like a one and done, a lot of them. They didn't really know that it was a series. And then other people are like, oh, so there's a part 2 to the conspiracy palette? Like, people are very confused about this, right? And he's kind of letting them be confused. It's really interesting to me right now how much, and I'm not going to put Jeffree Star in this because right now we haven't really even seen Jeffree Star. You know, even though it's the canceled world of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, right now we're just seeing Shane Dawson in this. So we're just going to talk about Shane because we don't know what part Jeffree Star will play in all of this yet. Yakety yak and don't talk back. But, you know, it's very interesting to me that Shane is just kind of letting the world right now talk about the fact that he may or may not put out a palette. I mean, there are so many people out there that are like, he's going to put a palette. The 3 major consensus kind of points that I see are that he, A, is going to definitely put out a palette, and at the very end of this, they're going to say, oh, so many people want us to release this, they're so excited about it, we're going to release a palette. Or this was their plan all along, or they're not going to release a palette, and that it was just for the video series. I'm not sure which ones I lean towards. I lean towards either they're not going to release a palette, because I have to believe that there are so many people out there that would just absolutely let them have it for releasing a part 2. But when I was, and then I also kind of lean towards between that and the first answer, which is that they'll wait till the very end and then they'll be like, well, so many people want it. And it's Black Friday and it's AdSense month. And so we're coming out with merch and 15 products for you guys to buy. We're so excited for you. Even though it only took us an hour in the lab to kind of piece some colors together that Shane had taken on a phone. It's not like, I mean, if anything, Shane taking pictures with his phone of like, wow, I really like that curtain. Let me see if they can replicate that in the lab. And then they come up with the color and he's like, oh my God, wow! Can I wear that beige on my eye? And it shows it in like 5 minutes. That does not really, to me, show the miracle of the beauty world. That really, to me, shows how easy it is, in all honesty. And that Shane Dawson really had nothing to do with that, other than he didn't pick colors. He just took pictures of colors that he liked. Well, hell, we can all do that, can't we? You know, give me a box of crayons and I can tell you that I don't like brick red. I don't, okay? I like azure blue or whatever. So it's like, it's not deep to pick it, you know, and that's probably, he probably picked some of these colors. Well, I know he had to have from the conspiracy palette from a box of crayons because it looks like it. So anyway, I digress. So he put out this statement about how they're going to come out with number 2. Is he doing number 2? Is he coming out with number 2? Well, they both kind of smell the same. I'm kind of surprised that he's leaving it up to the audience at this point to kind of decipher. And what's so interesting is when you read the comments, there are so many comments, you guys, talking about a release of the next palette. Now, if you go over to his community tab, which is, and the video, they're deleting comments, okay? That's been proven. There are so many people that have screenshot things. I can put it up here, but I'm not going to do a whole video about deleted comments, but they're deleting comments over there, which is interesting to me. I got one comment and somebody said, you think if Shane Dawson was somebody that had really changed and had really grown, since that is one of the things that his fans stand behind is, oh, Shane's such a changed person today. Well, if he really had changed so much, then he wouldn't be deleting comments because he would be open to criticism, correct? But he is. He's deleting comments, highly deleting comments over on his YouTube video. He's also deleting comments on his community tab because you can, on YouTube, on any part of YouTube, you can delete comments. Now, on Twitter, you can't. So what's interesting is when you go from his YouTube immediately over to Twitter, and you can on Instagram as well, and you can delete comments, and then you get a completely different read. Because on YouTube, it's like 99% support, okay, in favor of a new palette, Shane Dawson returning to YouTube, the series, the friendship of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, all these things, right? When you go to Twitter, right underneath Shane Dawson's post, where he posts these things, it's not the same. I mean, I would say it's probably 20% in Shane's favor and 80% criticizing him and asking these questions. And so it's very interesting to me. You can see that there is some kind of control factor that he's attempting to do on the public perception of him returning to YouTube and things like that. The video is trending. I said it would. That doesn't surprise me. When you look at the trending page, I went in, I don't know, this was probably like a month ago. I talked about it in a video that I did. I wanted to find out how videos trend on YouTube. And the way that videos trend is it's really based on how videos of yours in the past trended, and then it's kind of like this mathematical equation where it's also like, how many views do you get up front right away within like the first couple hours compared to what you got in the past, right? And if you get a certain amount within that, then that pushes you up on the trending. So for example, somebody like me who's never trended before or never had like a viral video or anything like that, I don't have a chance in hell, okay? And neither do you, unless you just have a video that you post. It's like the girl that was living in her van and it got like 25 million views overnight, which people are still speculating YouTube was behind that. You know, it's like, unless it's something like that, we don't, any of us have a chance to be trending. Well, Shane has had multiple trending videos, right? So he comes back with a video that's doing very, very well right out of the gate. I mean, I think I looked at it at like an hour and it had like 500,000 views, you know? And so I was like, hey, bring it on! We need the palette! We need the palette! I need my eyes to look like bloody stool! I kind of laugh, like in the video, he posted these pictures of all of these eye looks that he did, and he's always like, and I know he's kind of like making fun of it at the same time, but my question is, like, you're making fun of it, but at the same time, you're talking about, like, trying to find the next trend in makeup, but you have absolutely, I mean, listen, Linda, makeup artists on YouTube that have no professional training have been criticized for years on Instagram and on the YouTube space, right? Then steps in Shane Dawson, who his best at picking trends of colors is taking pictures in a restaurant and using it as an eyeshadow, you know, color. For me, it's like, it's kind of laughable, right? That he takes himself that seriously. And to me, that's the question. It's like, okay, so we're seeing footage from February 7th of 2020 when you were planning the next Conspiracy 2 palette, and then you got canceled, and you put out a statement that summer. What changed in there? What changed to make you no longer see the beauty community the same way? Because in February, you didn't think it was a circus. And you had already, with the whole witnessing and going and doing everything that you had already done, you had already had the opening of the Mall of America, you had already got the price points for all your things, you had already done all that kind of stuff, you had already picked the colors, you had already experienced a lot of the beauty world by that point, right? In fact, most of what had happened drama-wise had happened before. We just didn't know you're playing that yet. So what's interesting to me is, this goes on in February, okay? We're now seeing his February footage of him being with Jeffree Star, or shortly right after this, of him being with Jeffree Star, picking out the next colors for the next palette that they're going to do, okay? And, but then, if you flash forward, hold on a second. Do I have it pulled up here? No, I don't. If you flash forward, I think it was June 20th or something like that, or June 21st of that year, was when he put out the Welcome to the Circus statement on Twitter, basically saying, I'm done with the beauty community, okay? So my question would be, what happened in 4 months? What happened from February 7th, February to March, March to April, May, June. I ain't got my glasses on, but I could do math that time. What happened in those 4 months, okay? What happened in those 4 months that made you so disgusted with the beauty community that you didn't want any part of the beauty community anymore, okay? Or is there some truth in the fact when myself and other drama commentary channels come out and talk about the arrogance, ego, pride, cockiness of Shane Dawson, okay? And that what it really was that he got himself caught up in all of this stuff, and when he got called out and when he got canceled, okay, he was done with it. And so that's when he was done with the beauty community, because he was like, oh, no, 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 no. And that's why we say he took his money and he ran, okay? Because when it got too hot in the kitchen, he was done. Shane Dawson wasn't worried about coming out with no palettes, okay? You think when it gets too hot in the kitchen for Maybelline and all of these different, you know, cosmetics companies, that they're like, oh, we're gonna close shop for a year, we're not gonna do anything? No, Shane Dawson has the ability to do that. Why? On the money that he made off of this, which he's now saying, oh, I didn't make $10 to $20 million like people thought he did. He said he made less than that and had to pay taxes on it. Okay? Girl, seriously, it's like Jaclyn Hill's over there today and she's showing all these purses and she's like wanting to piss people off. I'm like, Jaclyn Hill, like seriously, none of you people live in reality, first of all, okay? Do y'all know what a ranch in California costs? Do you know what Shane Dawson's house in California would have cost? Number one. Number two, do you have any idea what this farm in Colorado that Shane Dawson and Rylan purchased, and now they're doing all these upgrades on and buying alpacas and things? Do y'all have any idea what that kind of stuff costs? At all, right? So I went in here, hold on a second, because there are so many people that are saying, did I save it? Damn it, Janet, please tell me I saved it. I said something, I wanted to find out when Shane Dawson was canceled and all that kind of stuff. And this is from the cinemaholic.com. YouTube confirmed on June 30th, 2020, that Dawson could no longer make money from ads on his channels. Target, the chain store, also announced they'd not carry books written by the vlogger. Mainly, Shane stands canceled due to his numerous racist and pedophilic jokes in the past. Now, when people want to accuse people and say, Shane's not the same person that he was, Shane's not this, Shane's not that, okay. Well, I haven't seen Shane get in a video and talk about the work that he's done and how he's changed as a person. Then people come and they say, well, Shane doesn't have to show that to you. It's changed by his actions. Okay. Shane just 2 weeks ago gave Jeffree Smith a platform, okay, and said that Jeffree Smith was going to be his editor for his 2023 podcast, okay? People have no Jeffree Smith's history. Jeffree Smith has had many alleged allegations against him, okay, for having these predatory kind of behaviors. He came out in a statement on YouTube, came out in a YouTube video and took responsibility for this and said that he was many of these things, but he wasn't anymore, that he was a changed person. Well, these allegations just came out in 2021. I don't know how much changing you could do in a year, you know? So Shane Dawson knowingly, with this series coming out, gave it wasn't like, I mean, he could have picked any editor in the world, you know? I just saw that Manny MUA put up on his Instagram the other day, if you have, I'm looking for an editor, email me. I mean, Shane Dawson could have picked any editor in the world, okay? This, again, is the arrogance, ego, and pride, and a proven point that he hasn't changed. And he has been friends with this guy since, like, 2012. He knows the history. He was there for the history. He knows what happened to him, okay? So he chooses to do this when he knows people are going to bring up his own past, right? So, you know, does it show that Shane Dawson has changed as a person? I don't think it shows. I think it shows that he hasn't changed personally. Does it have anything to do with Shane Dawson personally? No, other than bad choices. I think it's more bad choices on Shane Dawson's, you know, part. Also, in watching the video, there were a lot of, like, the same kind of sexualized jokes towards his cameraman this time. And the only thing that's different between Chris and Andrew, well, I mean, there's many things that are different as far as their style and things like that. But the only thing different in, like, the joke telling is that Chris is gay. And so Shane, I guess, feels comfortable making these sexualized jokes to him. But don't forget, Shane will always set you straight that he's not gay, he's bi. But he makes these sexualized jokes towards Chris, okay? Well, what is that called when we make sexualized jokes towards an employee? I'm just saying, okay? When people want to talk to me about how this person has changed. I'm just bringing it up, okay? You know, and then there's also the talking about the fat shaming himself constantly. When he came out after the Jeffree series last time and he said he wasn't going to do that again. And yet here he is doing it again, okay? And then instead of having total strangers ask me questions about the mind of Shane Dawson because he's too scared of that, He couldn't possibly have total strangers have control over the narrative of what they would want to ask or know about him and his life, right? And have to have him sit on camera and actually, I mean, go to a mall, Shane, and have total strangers ask you questions. Because I can tell you the questions you're not going to get are how much I love you. And it bothered me that people called it a cash grab. What people are going to probably ask you are things like, why did you think that it was okay to make comments about Will Smith's, daughter the way that you did? And why did you do this? And what about the blackface? And what about that? And why are these things not specifically been addressed? Those are probably the questions you're going to get. Don't nobody really care at the end of the day about Jeffree Star and his Yakety Yak Ranch. They really don't, okay? And I think to some degree, Shane knows that. I mean, Shane knows he's going to get criticism by doing this video, but he also doesn't care because he also knows that so many people love he and Jeffree together. There's still a huge fan base that does. So he knows that they're going to get excused to some degree and that they're going to, but it's kind of a safe move coming back and doing, these videos. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, I asked in my video, I was like, he supposedly is doing this next series with like a rock star. At his rate, it'll take 2 years for that to come out. So anyway, and people were like guessing that it was Kesha. Other people were guessing that it was Gabby Hanna. Girl, I will listen. If Gabby Hanna gets in a video with Shane Dawson, that will be too much for me, okay? I mean, we need to take the L on that one. He won't do a video with Gabby Hanna. Gabby Hanna does not think highly of Shane Dawson, and I don't care what she says, but she told me that. Gabby's still pissed at Shane Dawson because Shane Dawson did a video setting Andrew up on a date when Andrew dated Gabby Hanna, and Gabby and Shane were supposedly friends. That's why Gabby told me that Shane Dawson told her that when he first met Jeffree Star, the first phone call that he made home was to Gabby Hanna saying Jeffree Star still uses racist language. He told her that. Why hasn't she ever addressed that? In 2 years of me talking about it, why hasn't Gabby Hanna ever addressed it? Right? Because it's the truth is why. And she told me that. I wish I had that phone call taped. I do. Not to play it for you all, but just because I wish I knew whatever else she said. She talked to me about she talked to me about every drama channel. This was when she was all up in arms. You can go fact check this. This was when she was stressed out about those damn brushes that she had done a sponsorship with. And then people were coming at her because it was like, if you just pay shipping and handling, you get these brushes for free. And she got involved in some drama about that. And she was so stressed out about that drama about those brushes. If she told me about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, I'm sure she told the other 3 or 4 drama channels that she was talking to. Because I couldn't get off the phone with the girl. I couldn't, and trust me, I tried, okay? So that was what, 3 years ago, something like that? So I don't think he's going to do any collaboration, any series with Gabby Hanna. Now Kesha, I think he might want to reach out to Kesha, but we'll see. So anyway, he posts over on his YouTube, Creating Conspiracy Palette Part 2, and he put these pictures up here, okay? And the first one is them just in the lab. What's interesting to me about these pictures, as I show them to you, is that these pictures, I thought were in the first part of the video series. I didn't think these were in part 2. I thought these were in part 1, right? Okay, so when you go underneath the comments, it's like, those shades, oh my god, I need this palette. I really wish Shane would continue creating and releasing makeup products. His creativity in the makeup world is absolutely everything, and it needs his presence. Iconic. I'm just like, and this is just one of many comments like this, where people talk about Shane's creativity in the makeup world and his being able to pick colors. Shane just picked colors that he liked, okay? And I'm being completely honest and fair about this. Let's just do a little study. Let's have homework in drama class today, okay? I would like you guys to go out and over the weekend, let's go and let's take, is there 18 pans in a Jeffree Star palette for $52? I want you to take, let's say 50, not 15 because we need more than that. Let's take 20 to 30 pictures, okay, of colors that inspire you, of colors that motivate you, that you feel strongly attracted to, right? And then we're going to take those colors and we're going to print them out and we're going to put them into pictures, okay? And we're going to make that into an eyeshadow palette. And you're going to arrange those colors around so that certain colors line up and look better together, right? Okay, than others. And you're going to do all that and you're going to put the shimmers and this kind of stuff, right? And then we're going to see how good you are at creating a makeup palette. It's not genius work. You guys, it's kindergarten, okay? It's playing with paint. These are the colors that I like and whatever. What it is I'm getting you invested in me as a person again, because I know that I have such a strong fan base out there, which is fine, which is great, right? That I'm getting you guys invested in me as a person again, which is why we have the dog and the surrogate and Ryland and Ryland's family and the house in Colorado and all this. That all needs to be woven through there, because if it was just a Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series again, maybe 20% of the people would be invested, but he wants everybody to get emotionally invested in the life of Shane Dawson again, right? Because then you're going to want to purchase whatever he puts out. It doesn't really care. Like, it's, for example, when you have kids in the neighborhood that are selling candy, right? Do you buy it because you're so hungry for a candy bar? Well, maybe 1 out of 10 times, right? Or is it you buy it because you know their parents, or you like the kid, or you feel bad for them, or whatever. You really want them to go on the band trip. You know what I mean? So that's why you buy the candy. Okay? Shane Dawson knows that. This is business. And I think people forget that sometimes, that at the end of the day, this is business, okay? The most emotional we have ever seen Shane Dawson in any series of any video at all is him rolling around the floor of the bathroom because he wasn't paid enough for his merch for the last 20 years, okay? And then he was like, but I don't want to come out with merch. And then what does he do? For the last 2 years, he has done nothing but just push and push and push and push and push his merch. He's a businessman, okay? I know out there, those of you that love him don't want to see it, but he's a businessman. So if I get you to buy into my story, and any business person that owns their own business, any person that knows anything about business and has taken business classes and has a degree in business, will tell you about the importance of the story, okay, when it comes to selling your product. Trust me, it's Business 101 at any business school in this country, okay? Harvard Business School, I trust you, talks about the importance of the story of the company, okay? That's why you have About Me sections on websites and things like that. Because if I can get you to buy in to who I am as a person and who I am as a company, then you're going to want to buy my products. And that's what Shane Dawson is doing. Okay, so anyway, when you go over here to the comments on the community tab, the comments are really nice. They're all like pretty encouraging of him, and you know, they're all like, we want the palette now. I've already spent my money on the palette. When's the palette coming out? I gotta have the palette. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. Okay. When you go over to Shane Dawson's Twitter, it's a little bit different. Okay. So Shane Dawson put the same thing up on Twitter, and the comments are a little bit different. So I'm going to be fair. I tried to pick like one positive for one critical. So here we go. They will release it. They will release it. I feel it. There's no way they're going to abandon it, because they'll get together in part 2 and say, F it, let's launch it anyway. I really think part 2 will be them landing, getting shown around the ranch. Jeffree will show them what the Yak Ranch is like a little bit. And then they'll talk about the palette, and they'll talk about the history, and a little bit about getting canceled. And then, like, Shane will say, Jeffree, why don't you ask me any questions you want to know? And because that's the whole idea behind, you know. And then Jeffree will ask him something about, like, well, what was it really like to be canceled? Because, you know, I've been canceled a million times. I'm always the villain of YouTube. People always want to make me the villain of YouTube. He'll use those words, villain of YouTube, okay? Or villain. He's used those words notoriously for years. He'll say, you know, I was always in drama and scandals. I don't do that anymore. We'll hear all this, okay? And then I'll say, but like, I want to know what it was like for you. Like, how did it really take a toll? And they'll hold hands, and it'll be a really sentimental moment. And Ryland won't be there. He'll be, you know, off somewhere else. Probably looking at Jeffree Star's closet, trying to like ching 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 to see what else he can buy with the next cash grab. And then so then Jeffree and Shane will have this really emotional moment, and then that will go into what part 3 is. When then part 3, Shane talks about the actual cancellation, and then Jeffree and him will have this, you know, little talk part, and then they'll talk about releasing the if they release this thing. Then they'll talk about what happened with the development of that, and there'll be a lot of like different things. People are saying that Jeffree Star's already used some of these colors, so they might have to come out and pick new colors, which would be part of part 3, okay, of them picking new colors, which would be part of the canceled thing of Shane feeling like new colors have inspired him since he's been canceled. This is going to stop in just a second, so hold on. So that might be part of part 3, where they pick new colors, and, you know, Shane and Jeffree are talking about this new palette and putting the new palette together. And then basically they say, listen, you know, if you're going to get canceled, you're not going to get canceled. So many people loved this palette. We had such a fun time creating it. Let's put it out anyway. And then they do put it out. That will be what happens if they put this palette out at the end, okay? And like somebody said in my video yesterday, they said Peter called this like 6 months ago, like he's psychic. It's not being psychic, you guys. It's common sense. I just really didn't think, honestly. And like, okay, I mean, somebody said in my comment section yesterday, I mean, it's a good business move for Shane Dawson because he has to do very little to make a lot of money. And that is true, you know? But then don't come over to my channel and tell me that Shane Dawson is this genius and he's whatever. What he's doing is he's bankrolling on he and Jeffree Star's name right now to make a lot of money so that he really doesn't have to work or do anything, you know? And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, you know? I just wish there was a little bit more honesty about it. I wish it wasn't always like, let me stand behind this. I'm so passionate about this. I love doing makeup, yada, yada, yada. You know, it's like, I mean, and there was even like the Snapchats of him doing makeup, and then those kind of stopped. It was like, as soon as like you were getting ready to put this out, like the Snapchats even stopped. I mean, we didn't see makeup, you know? So I don't know. Okay, so that's how it will either end. Or I think they'll say, no, this would have been fun, but we're not going to do it. We did one. One was enough, and let's put it out. But we are going to, and then they'll release merch or something, and they'll have t-shirts over that. Which merch is merch, what, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, he pushes his merch so hard. Like, this is the issue to me, just so I can make this very, very clear, because people are like, Peter, you have merch. I do. You can go buy it. It's listed below. I also have cameos, if you guys want cameos for the holidays or for birthdays or bar mitzvahs or whatever, baptisms or bridal showers or weddings or engagements, whatever. I have cameos. They're all listed below. But anyway, this is my issue, okay? Every YouTuber in the world has merch. I don't care about merch, okay? Like, that doesn't bother me that he has merch. What bothers me is the cringe fest when he says, I don't want to push merch. Like, I don't want anybody to feel obligated to buy merch. We know we don't feel obligated to buy merch, okay? I've looked at your merch. I've never once felt obligated to buy it. Trust me. I've never once looked at Shane Dawson's merch site and thought, let me break out the credit cards. God, I feel obligated. I've never felt that way, okay? So him saying it is, again, an emotional manipulation tactic to pull his audience in for him to say, hey, gosh, you guys, like, I'm just so obsessed with this merch, but you don't have to buy it. Please, you don't have to buy it. It's like grandma standing in the kitchen, okay? And she just made the most disgusting meal you've ever seen in your entire world. And she says to you, you don't have to eat any of it, but gosh, grandma really worked hard on this and she'd really like you to try it. And you're like, okay, grandma, that's what it is, okay? That's my issue with the merch. It's not that he has merch. I could care less about that. It's the fact that he acts like that he doesn't want to sell merch, okay? Just put your merch out there and sell it. Which, again, to me is, he can't just put it out there to sell. He has to do all this because this is the advertisement to selling the merch. So let's read a few more of these comments before I get off there, because they're really good. Okay, somebody said, thought you deleted the app. Oh, as long as it's to promote a cash grab, Twitter is cool, huh? Amongst all the efforts you made to make it seem you really care about making a palette and how passionate you are, you act like it's all for money still. Somebody said, do you think he was tempted to put that black shade all over his face? And somebody said, what's the next palette? Oh, ooh, can't read that one. Okay. Somebody said, I have some questions. You mentioned a few years ago that you were officially done with the beauty community, as I mentioned and read in my last video. But this palette was already in the process of being produced. So which one was it? Now, that's my question, okay? And that's the lingering question to me. Shane Dawson, when he came out in a statement, of his arrogant statement of James Charles needs to be served a piece of humble pie, okay? Shane Dawson was in works to release his second palette. So when Shane Dawson made a statement about the beauty community and goodbye to the beauty community and I'm not engaging in it with anymore, and if you read it, if you go back and read it, you can Google search it, and I read the last paragraph in my last video. And I read to myself the whole thing. If you go back and read it, it is the most condescending, patronizing POS I have ever read in my entire life. And it is so patronizing, you guys, towards people in the beauty community that have worked years and years and years and years to build their channels, to build companies, to build a following, okay? That he swoops right in here because he does this series with Jeffree Star, makes all this money off this palette, and then he wants to act like he's the grand dame of the beauty community, and I'm done with it now, and I can't be bothered with it anymore, and then step back into it when he wants, and people want to act like he's changed. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? People want to sit there and they really have the nerve to say, you've changed, you've grown, you're a different person. 2 years ago, okay, he was telling everybody, kiss my ass in the beauty community. I'm done with you. And he had already made $8 to $10 million off of them. Kiss my ass. I am done with you, okay? And 2 years later, he comes out and he is hinting at the fact that he is doing another palette. Are you kidding me? And you think this man has changed? Show me within that the growth of this man. Show me the taking accountability. Show me where he has changed as a person, okay? I mean, I can't. I cannot. When we want to have conversations and people are like, oh, he's such a changed person. I'm like, you know what? He pulled the wool over your eyes and everybody else. Listen, you want to talk about the stuff that happened 10 years ago and forget about all that kind of stuff? Okay, let's forget about the stuff from 10 years ago. What about giving Jeffree Smith a platform? That's just 2 weeks ago, okay? What about the fact that 2 years ago he said goodbye to the beauty community and pissed off everybody and said, I'm done with you, okay? Thank you for making me a shit ton of money, but I am done with you, all right? But then 2 years later, when it's convenient for him, because he is so talentless that he can't come up with any other idea except for to DM somebody on Instagram and ask them if they might want to do a series, which any of us could do, but we just don't have the clout that Shane Dawson does he come out to reach out to his dear old friend, Jeffree Star, okay, to do another video with him? Well, here's where we're at. So then somebody said, so people forgot why they are canceled, and somebody responded and said, no, grown adults don't care who you millennials cancel or who you watch or don't watch. He has fans, as is shown in #1 trending video posted yesterday, and his 1 million views per podcast. So 1 million views per podcast when he has 20-some million subscribers on YouTube is kind of sad, honestly, but hey, you do you. You either watch or don't, but there's no such thing as canceled in reality. I totally agree with you. There's no such thing as canceled. Millennials are grown adults, said my girl Nikki, who is in a true crime book club. Hi, Nikki. Then why don't they act like it and quit trying to cancel people's lives because they don't like them? I don't know. Somebody said, I am so happy to see you two together again. Like, this filled my heart today. I genuinely felt like you were friends and an internet and life did its thing. I hope you never stop creating and being who you are. We love you all so much. Friends or friends of convenience, I would wonder, because Chris did ask that part at the beginning, and he was like, are you still friends with Jeffree? And I thought that was interesting, and Shane was like, yeah, and he was like using his products. But it's like, Chris, who's like literally there all the time, wouldn't you think like Chris would know that? And then it was like, so was that supposed to be a sarcastic joke? Or what was that, you know? Because to me, the only times I've seen Shane and Jeffree interact, I mean, he's never been to the ranch since Jeffree moved out there. I think if they were such good friends and the money that they all have and whatever, they just fly out there for a weekend or something, you know what I mean? If Jeffree Star were my good friend and I lived in Colorado and its location and distance to Wyoming and we were like best of friends, and I had the money that Shane Dawson has, I'd hop on a plane and just visit him for the weekend to go see his, I don't know, maybe he wasn't invited, who knows. Anyway, cash grab part 2 after he sold the first conspiracy palette. Have y'all seen him wear makeup? LMAO. Somebody said, are you just hoping people forget? Somebody said, are you still going to work with that predator Jeffree? Somebody said, is there any proof behind these allegations or is this just allegedly? And this person responded and said he confirmed that in his apology video. So Jeffree did an apology video where he comes out and he talks about the allegations and he says that, well, you can go watch it. And then this person said, okay, thank you. And then somebody said, another cash grab. And then somebody said, Shane, we will always support you. People can believe what they would like, but you have proven time and time again that you have changed and have apologized. Wait a second. Oh, this is the same person that asked if there were any allegations behind Jeffree Smith. People can believe what they want, but you've shown time and time again that you have changed, except for 2 weeks ago. When did they post? Okay, interesting. Is there going to be a shade called racist and a shade called, I can't read that. So those are the different comments on the Twitter. You can go over there. Those are under Shane's Twitter because he can't control it, right? So anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. Oh my God, I'm so excited about the new palette. Celebrate good time. Come on. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.